I'm in zone 6B and it is October 23rd today, and I am planting seeds inside today to put under the grow light and then to plant out into my raised beds in a couple weeks. Is that going to work? Have you ever heard of that? I mean, most people in zone 6B or a zone similar to this one where you have a cold winter, they are not planting seeds in plastic cells right now and putting them under a grow light. Most people right now are either cleaning up their garden or honestly still harvesting from their garden, depending on whether they have had a hard frost or not. So why am I doing this? How am I doing this? How are these plants going to stay alive? I'm going to walk you through all of that. So to start out, and I kind of almost laugh about this, I at one point in my life was going to be a flower farmer because I really enjoy growing flowers along with all of my vegetables. Well, I can tell you I am not going to be a flower farmer. I have the utmost respect for flower farmers. It is a lot of work and it's a lot of risk, and it just doesn't work out for me. But one thing that I do really enjoy is growing flowers and making cut flower bouquets for our home and for family and friends. So that's actually what I'm working on today, is flowers. I don't have any vegetables going in today. And why I'm doing this is the varieties, the species that I am planting today are all plants that can overwinter in the correct conditions. And I'm going to take you out to my raised bed area and show you what these plants will be overwintered in. Before we get there, I'm just going to tell you straight up, I'm not just planting them in the ground, leaving them uncovered and being like, oh, here you go, hopefully you survive until the spring. No, I am not doing that. We do not have a high tunnel, we do not have a low tunnel, I guess, official fancy ones that you see a lot of people have, but we pretty much are able to make our own. And so when I take you to the raised bed area, you will see where we have hoops, and we're going to put some greenhouse plastic on that probably here in a couple of weeks. It just, again, depends on the weather, the temperatures, and that is where they will be overwintered at. And the types of flowers that I am doing today should all do fine. Even when we get really cold, down in the teens, 0, put some frost cloth on there and they should do fine. So let's talk about the ones that we are going to plant today. And again, it is October 23rd. If you finish watching this video and you are encouraged and want to try this yourself, because you're in a similar zone, you have to have similar conditions to mine, then you still have plenty of time to buy these seeds and go get started on this. All right, here we go. So I buy a lot of my seeds from Johnny's. I will link their website below. It's a great website, a great business. You really can't go wrong with Johnny's seeds. So to start out, I'm going to do some snapdragons. Now, what's important about snapdragons is you look at the group that they're in. So snapdragons they have a group 1 and 2, a group 3, a group 4. I don't think there's a group 5, but the groups are categorized in how the seeds do in daylight hours and temperatures. So the seeds that I ordered are group 1s and 2s, and they do better in shorter daylight hours and cooler temperatures. So think early spring and as you get into fall. Okay, so these will take the cooler temperatures much better, and they will actually grow better in the cooler temperatures come early spring. And the idea is hopefully put on some blooms earlier than some of the others. In the flower farming world, you really don't start getting a lot of blooms until June-ish. And so if there's any way you can speed that process up and start getting some snapdragon blooms in May, that's a big deal. So here we've got a light pink, an orange, I'm really excited about this one, and just a lavender, a light purple. Next Next we have dianthus. I have never started these from seed before, so this is new to me, but I do have dianthus that I have bought from the local greenhouse, and they are in some of my just flower beds that I have around the home, and it's one of those flowers that comes back every year without being covered. It's one of those perennials that it doesn't, I mean, we've lived in our home over 10 years and we've had some really intense winters, a few of those years, and they always come back, they don't die. So honestly, when these start maturing, it's very possible that these don't even need to be in a low or high tunnel, but I'm not going to experiment with that yet. Then I have some feverfew. It's just a cute little flower that is considered more of a filler for bouquets, and it's a perennial and it should overwinter well. And then some rutabaga, which is really, really pretty. I wouldn't call it a filler flower for bouquets, but it's, I guess, maybe like a downgraded version of a sunflower, but it's very pretty as well, and it's a perennial. So the great thing about these three, the rutabaga, the feverfew, and the dianthus, is they are all perennials, and so once they get established in the raised bed that I am putting them in, I can move my hoop system to another bed next year, and these guys will do fine without being covered. The only reason that I'm covering them and putting them in a low tunnel this year is just because they will be small seedlings and they're going to need that protection. But once they get going and get established, I'm not even going to cover them anymore. Another thing that I'm going to start, it probably won't be today, but I'm also going to start some yarrow. Okay, the first thing that I want to say about seed starting is that it is not difficult at all, and it does not need to be overly complicated. While I do love the internet and the web, and I do love social media, I think also one of the things that has happened is we have overcomplicated everything. And I'm here to tell you that it does not need to be that complicated. Some of these seeds are very small, particularly the snapdragon. So I always like to make sure that I'm using an actual seed starting mix, because it is a much looser, lighter, and thinner medium. If you use something like an actual potting mix, you will notice there's a lot of chunks of wood in there, and that could very well block the germination for some of these small seeds. I do use name brand Miracle-Gro. I have used off-brand before, and it has bit me where my germination rate and my seedling health quality was horrible. So I will not buy off-brand anymore. I just, again, don't overcomplicate it. I put some of the seed starting mix in a pot of some sort. I get it pretty wet. So this is pretty, I mean, it's pretty moist here. And I am just going to fill up these trays to the top, and then we'll move on from there. So I'm just gonna take a tray, fill it up, and I do this real quick. I try to get them, you know, pretty much close to the top, and I just grab another one and go. All right, this is what the dianthus seed looks like. It's not too small. I've dealt with a lot of small seeds, so this isn't too bad. So I'm just going, I just opened up the feverfew, and you know if you plant a lot of seeds, you know that if you get a seed pack and then it actually comes in like another little paper bag, you know that the seed is very, very small. So let's see if I can even show you on the camera here. There, that's the feverfew seeds. We're also going, all right, now we're on to the rutabaga, which is black-eyed Susan. Might be a more common term for you. These aren't too bad. All right, on to snapdragons, the joy of snapdragon seed. It is so small. And I actually have a really good method of planting snapdragons, which I will share probably this winter when I actually start a bigger group of snapdragons by themselves in a tray. But for today, I am just going to put them into these single cells. Now, there's no way that I'm going to be getting one seed per cell. So again, I'm just going to sprinkle them on there. Also light. All right, we're out in the raised bed area. We have quite a bit of raised beds. They're not even all in this screen. And this is what I talk about with our low tunnel. We just went to Lowe's and bought some of these PVC pipes, and there was no screwing or nailing or anything involved. They just slid right on the edges here and fit perfectly in. And then we have these clips, a whole bunch of these clips to help hold on the greenhouse plastic or the insect netting or the frost cloth, whatever it may be. So this is what this is my grow light area that we have in our basement. It is nothing fancy, just a light over a table, and it'll be good enough for this. I'm going to put it on a plastic dome to keep it humid in there and help them to germinate faster because it's warm and humid. And we'll check back in a little bit.